Nikola Vucevic, as you know, is playing in the Eurobasket League, and he opens up about the Bulls front office saying that so far they have done a really good job. Hold on now. We gonna have to talk about it. And the young players around the Chicago Bulls are getting together, but there is one face that is not present. Are you surprised? Not me. Y'all know we gonna talk about it and break it all down, but you gotta hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on another daily episode. So if y'all tuned in, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. Man, on a day like this where it's gloomy outside, I ain't expect these words to come out from Nikola Vucevic. You might call it a little bit of politics and just kind of play things politically. Hey, you could call it that. But hey, he had an extensive interview that went on with Basket News over there in Europe. Now that he's playing, for his home country and stuff. And on the other night, got to give him some credit. Dropped 24 and 10, something along those lines. But what else is new? That's what Nikola Vucevic does. Nobody is going to sit here and act like Nikola Vucevic is not a good player. He is a good player. It's just that around Chicago, we want a little bit of change. But the thing that I took away from the interview is that Nikola Vucevic came out and just went on out there and said that he believes that Arturas is doing a good job, and pretty much said this: I have known AK for a long time. When I did my pre-draft workout, he was with Houston, took me out to dinner for an interview. So I have known him for a very long time. I know it's kind of a position that he's in. If the results are not there, we all get a little bit of criticism, but that just comes with the job. When he first got here, I thought he made some very good moves, signing Lonzo, Alex Caruso, Vooch himself, and DeMar DeRozan. I thought it was a very good team. It just didn't work out, which is facts. It just didn't work out. After that, sometimes it's hard to figure out what to do next. We had a lot of injuries and other challenges, but overall, I think he has done a good job. Now they have decided to go with a slightly young players, and they did a good job in the draft as well. I think it's understandable that fans want results right away, but sometimes you need to be patient. Overall, I think he has done some pretty good things. Yes, a lengthy quote from Nikola Vucevic regarding the moves that the front office has made and where we stand with the front office today. Where we stand with the front office today is, at least for me, I won't speak for you all out there that's listening to this right now, but at least for me, I stand even keel. At this, I'm not in the zone of I just don't give a damn anymore because I still care about my Chicago Bulls. But I'm in a zone of where I'm not going to get too excited about said moves. I'm not going to get too low about said moves. I understand to where you can say he's done some good things. We're talking about Arturas and Mark Eversley. They have done some really good things. At the point of when they did it, I thought it was very good for them to go out there and sign Zach LaVine. Then in the middle of the season, they go get Nikola Vucevic. Due to COVID, things didn't necessarily pan out the way that we thought it would be that season. But we move on into the offseason where you go get a Caruso, you go get a DeMar, you go get Alonzo, and then flow into that season. In that first 35 games, we ended up with the 1 seed. All good stuff. Don't get me wrong. But after that, that's where we got problems. Lonzo Ball goes down with the knee injury, and the Chicago Bulls say, hey, Lonzo Ball is going to come back. He never comes back. We know that there's a chance that he doesn't come back, but we do nothing anyway. We bring in a guy like Tristan Thompson, who is yelling at Ayo Dosunmu, and Ayo Dosunmu was looking at him like he had 3 heads. Then we move on. We pick up DJJ. We pick up Andre Drummond. Things don't pan out again. Blah, da, 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 da. You know the story. We go into the offseason. We hear continuity. And that was the staple word of that offseason headed into that season. Still didn't work out. Then when we go into it, we hearing that in rumors and rumblings that people are calling around for Andre Drummond. Nothing happens. Then they pick up Pat Bev. And we end up in the play-in 3 consecutive seasons after, you know what I'm saying? During this whole time, 3 consecutive play-in appearances, 3 consecutive losses to the same damn team. Still nothing has been done. Now, if we want to talk about some more of the good, I'll give him a little kudos for acquiring and drafting Montes Buzelis. I know that's going to be somebody that jumps in here and say, well, it fell in his lap. He did fall in his lap. But guess what AK could have did? Pushed the motherfucker off his lap. He could have absolutely fumbled that entire decision and went and selected somebody else. So I'm going to give him a little bit of credit for that. Just a little bit. A little bit of credit for that. And then we move on. We trade more players. When we don't get draft capital for any other trades, we get our own rights back. You get a second round pick. So I stand corrected. We get our own draft pick back. You know what I'm saying? We get a second round pick for being involved in the DeMar DeRozan stuff. And this is where we are. Here's where we are. And then to add on to a number of bad moves, you get Patrick Williams, $18 million for being mid. Not even mid. If we keeping it a buck, not even mid. Been a huge disappointment. And now they're in this negotiation standoff with Josh Giddey, which is a little bit of, I'll give some understanding to that. But again, I still think it's on par with being ridiculous for what has transpired up until this point. Again, there has been some reluctancy to make aggressive moves, to make smart moves. We already talked about not finding somebody to go out there for Lonzo Ball, not trading Andre Drummond when the phone was ringing, you knew your team wasn't going nowhere, not being able to go out there and pivot off DeMar DeRozan a little bit sooner, or at least find a deal that makes a lot of sense for you. And then being a little bit stagnant with moving Zach LaVine, and then being stagnant or being stupid for trading Alex Caruso and not receiving any draft pick back. That's all bad stuff. So right now he has a plate full of poop placed around his room with probably just a nice little table in a corner for putting that team together that consisted of Lonzo Ball, Josh Giddey, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan. So the room is full of poop, but in a corner for that one season, we got a nice little table. That's it. 1 playoff appearance with 1 win, 3 consecutive play-in appearances with 3 consecutive losses to the same team. So for us, and this goes back into Nikola Vucevic asking fans for patience. I can't blame guys for wanting to not have patience. We've been living in hell. Basketball purgatory is what we've been living at. It's like when you come into that situation and you just at that point to where you like, man, I really don't care what happens. And again, I don't want to say I don't care because I still do care, but it's like you take and place certain Bulls fans into this zone to where we're like, I just got to wait to see what happens. And that's where I'm at. I'm not going to sit there and bang the table and say, hey, Isaac Okoro is going to go crazy. Hey, Josh Giddey is about to be an all-star, or Kobe White is going to take the additional steps. Some of those things can still be true. Some of those things still can happen. But I'm not getting excited until it actually happens. So Nikola Vucevic, and this goes to Arturis as well. For you to sit there and ask us to have patience, look, patience is running thin, my boy. There's going to be some people that are going to home harder than others. There are going to be some people that just be absolutely like insufferable for the amount of dumb stuff that they say out their mouth when it comes to the state of the Chicago Bulls. It's going to be both sides to it. My position is just remain right in the middle. Remain right in the middle. I know who I'm dealing with, and that's the front office. That's why it's laughable to hear people just say these outlandish things regarding if you're on the side of this team is headed in the right direction or we just completely stink. I'm right in the middle of everything saying, I'm just going to wait to see what happens. That's it. For me, that's the best way to be. That's the best way to be. Right in the middle, waiting to see what happens. But I do understand the people that saying, I have no patience. I want a winner. And I understand the people say, hey, they moved off that. Now it's a new iteration of the team. And let's see if Monty Buzelis could take a step forward. Let's see what Noah Essengate turns into. The way that people are castigating and saying that they have to do it their way, some people just mad that the plan that the Bulls have in place is not their way. But I can't sit here and get mad all the time when the front office is telling me what they're going to do. I can't. They're sticking to their word. You could take it for what you want. You could disagree with it or not. But if the front office is saying, we going into the season with continuity. Yeah, I have my opinion and that I didn't like it. But that don't necessarily mean I'm about to come out every time I touch a mic and bang my head on the damn mic complaining. Same thing with the offseason that just took place. Well, that's still going on right now. At the end of the season, they said we're going to draft our own player. We're going to look for another player, and that's it. And we're going to look to move Nikola Vucevic and Patrick Williams. They've done all of that. Succeeded in some, failed at some. That's why if you like me, I don't encourage anybody to be like me. Be like yourself, come up with your own thoughts and do your own damn thing. What I got going on ain't got shit to do with you, and what you got going on ain't got shit to do with me. But I feel like the best place to be is right there in the middle. Right there in the middle. Cut the screen in the middle, goddamn. If I can go and split screen for myself, I'll do it. Right in the middle. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. We may even kill. But Nikola Vucevic, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a lot of people that's not trying to hear that be patient stuff. Not even gonna lie to you, bro. But y'all let me know your thoughts and everything on that, man. But hey, before we get up out of here, we got to talk about the young Bulls getting together for an informal workout right before training camp starts up in September. Now, what's being reported, or at least what we've seen on Instagram, you got guys like Kobe White, Monty Buzelis there, P. Willis there, Julia Phillips there, Dalen Terry's there, Trey Jones, Zach Collins, Ayo Dosunmu, and Noah Essengate. And there's one particular face that is missing. It's Josh Giddey. What else did you expect? The man over there in Australia putting on basketball camps for his people. Now, me personally, I would love to see Josh Giddey out there. I believe Josh Giddey should be out there because you're going to be the starting point guard. Kobe White is going to be a starter. Monts is going to be a starter. Whoever the three is on Julian Phillips, Patrick Williams, Dalen, whoever, one of those guys is going to be starting. But I'm not about to make a big deal out of it simply because training camp is a couple weeks away. Then you have preseason and all this other stuff. So he enjoying his time where he got to enjoy his time. Me personally, I would have loved to have him right there with these young fellas, putting in some work, getting familiar with these guys, how they like to receive the pass, how they want to operate, building some chemistry so we can have all this stuff translate on the basketball court. But again, I'm not the guy that's going to make a big fuss about it. I'm simply not. I'm not going to make a big fuss about it simply because, again, we have more basketball on the way before the games actually start to matter. So when you think about training camp and preseason, I'm pretty sure that's like over a month of basketball that they're going to have together. So, you know what I'm saying? And then once the season going on, you're still going to have to build that chemistry up anyway. So I'm not going to make a big fuss about it, but I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I would love to see him there. But he's just not there. He's handling his business in Australia. You see him running over there with some of the players over there. You see him putting in work as individually. So no complaints for me. I just would have loved to see him now. I would have loved to see him now. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And plus, the Bulls bullshitting. They bullshitting. I already said it. Like, I understand the negotiation side. I understand the market has spoken. I understand that the Bulls have leverage. But you don't trade Alex Caruso straight up for Josh Giddey to let him walk out the door and then try to say, I learned from my mistakes, or at least trying to use Josh Giddey as the example for learning from your mistakes. Take it for what you want. Take it for what you want. You probably could take that, you know what I'm saying, that advice and say, hey, I learned from my last, you know what I'm saying, mistakes. And now for this time it's happening. I ain't going to make that same mistake. Cool. But don't shortchange a motherfucker just because you feel like it's making a mistake. Now, if you don't want to go for the 30 mil, understandable. But let's try to get closer to 25 as best as we could with Josh Giddey and his representation. That's the only point. That's the only point. But it is what it is. Y'all already know, man. We're going to wait to see what happens. And we're going to make sure we keep y'all updated on the latest. But that is it for me today, man. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. Before y'all get up out of here, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell as well, man. That is it for me today. Make sure y'all always see red. And y'all already know, man. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. For sure.
Cognac. Gang.